Welcome to I Want Football 365. I'm your host, Michael Heim, and with me is co-host Mark Hanicki.
Welcome, everyone, to our first show for I Want Football 365. Just to give you a quick background on who we are and what we're trying to accomplish, most of you get football hangovers when you're done watching the Super Bowl and thinking to yourself, wow, I got to wait months and months for football to come back on again. What am I going to do? Well, we're here to let everybody know that you don't have to wait months. We cover pro football all around the world, and we're doing it the minute the Super Bowl ends, from arena to indoor to Canadian football to China to the Indian leagues in the Middle East. We have football happening all over the world all year long, 365 days a year, and we're here to help you cover it and to see it for the first time in a different light like no one's ever seen it before.
Well, let's start off with the NFL, because I know we talk about a lot of different football leagues, but for right now, I'll start with the big guys in the room, because we've been NFL fans for probably since we could start watching TV.
Yes, I've been a fan, more specifically a Bears fan, since I was 12 years old when the Bears won the Super Bowl in '85, and I thought it was going to be like that for the rest of my life. I thought they were going to win a Super Bowl every year. Unfortunately, that has not happened. I'm still a diehard Bears fan, but I love my NFL. We obviously have the draft coming up in a day here. Very exciting for a lot of people, especially with people who are into fantasy football. Everyone wants to know who their teams are going to be picking and who they're going to have an opportunity to pick up this upcoming year.
Well, just to go back, I was born in the Chicago area around 1985. So my things were covered in Bear orange. Anything my parents, friends would give me as a little tyke would have Bears on it. But my parents met at Whitewater, Wisconsin, college, so diehard Packer fans, that's how I was brought up. Even my eyes are green and gold.
We won't hold this against him, folks.
You can't, it is just too good. So that'll be fun for the rest of the year, comparing the Bears and the Packers once that starts.
Yes, it'll be some fun bantering, as it is one of the oldest historic rivalries in the NFL, and it's so historic and so important to people here in Chicago that I hate to admit it, but as long as we win against Green Bay twice a year, we're pretty happy about that.
Well, same way with the Bears. When I first started watching the Packers, they weren't doing so well. I've been spoiled recently. I'm okay with that. But it's a very illustrious history. The Packers have won 13 championships. This is going back before just Super Bowls, which the Packers were the first two winners, of course.
Yes, and the Bears are right behind them in the history books.
Right, number two.
Number two, we're only 4 away from catching up. We obviously have a ways to go in that category, but...
well, now that you have Mike Glennon, I think you guys are right there.
We'll see what happens.
Start the engraving process. But obviously the NFL is not going on right now. Tomorrow's the draft, and we'll have a lot to talk about after the draft. So let's go to the next professional football league that's to our neighbors to the north, the Canadian Football League.
Which is actually older than the NFL. Most people don't realize that, but Canadian Football League's been around longer than the NFL, and they have some historic rivalries. There's only 9 teams up there, but when those teams play, the Providences get together and they support their teams unlike anything you've ever seen.
It almost kind of reminds me of college football, where you have ton of fans from a whole state just cheering them on, and it's rivalries wherever you go, because those teams face each other a lot over the past years.
And some of the differences that you'll learn and see about as the CFL season begins in a week here is that they do have some significant different rules that are different from the NFL. One being that they have a 110-yard field, 65 yards wide and 110 yards long. You only have 3 downs to get a first down. If not, you're punting on 3rd down. They play 12 against 12.
Yeah, those are big fields. You don't cover the 11 guys. You'll be gassed pretty quickly.
That's right. And on top of it, you're allowed to have forward motion, which is one of my favorite rules that a majority of the rest of the world utilizes. And before the snap, a wide receiver is allowed to run towards the line of scrimmage. As a matter of fact, it's multiple wide receivers. And when you have a quarterback and receivers that are in tune and on the same page, I guess you could say, it is like poetry in motion to watch that stuff from the CFL.
Right. Picture this. You have 12 guys on the field, and the extra guy compared to the NFL's in the backfield, and they can all run forward to line of scrimmage. So if you've got an accurate passer, they have 5 guys blitzing downfield, and you got 110 yards to work with. The ball flies in the Canadian Football League. It just destroys the yardage of the NFL quarterbacks.
It's an amazing game to watch, and it's definitely as intense, and a lot of the players up there are extremely gifted.
Oh, right.
I actually have another biased opinion of the CFL, as I am a huge fan of the Toronto Argonauts. My fandom goes all the way back to the 90s when they stole Rocket Ishmael from the NFL and brought him up to Toronto, mainly because John Candy was an owner at the time of the Toronto Argonauts. At the time, I didn't understand what an Argonaut even was. But once I did figure it out, they became my second team. It's the Bears first and then the Argonauts for me. And they have a rich history themselves, more recently winning the Grey Cup, which is their equivalent to the Super Bowl. They won the 100th Grey Cup a couple of years ago. They have Ricky Ray at quarterback this year, which is one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time.
How long has he been playing?
I actually will have to look that up. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head.
40s?
But it's been quite. I don't know,
He's in his 40s?
Yeah, I don't think he's that old yet.
Okay.
But he definitely has what it takes to get us there. I kind of look at him as the Peyton Manning of the CFL.
And a new coach.
Yes, we got Mark Trestman, used to be a touted coach from the Montreal Alouettes, won some championships and Grey Cups over there with them. Actually coached our Bears for a little while, didn't quite work out. Now we got him back in the CFL with his partner in crime, Jim Pop, over there for the GM of the Toronto Argonauts, and they just picked up S.J. Green, who's one of the most talented wide receivers the CFL has to offer. Their equivalent, in my opinion, of a Terrell Owens or Randy Moss-esque like player, as he's won 2 Grey Cups with the Alouettes, and I'm hoping that championship pedigree will bring the Grey Cup back to Toronto this year.
And because Mark is a big Toronto Argonauts fan, I decided to become a Hamilton Tiger Cats fan. The reason that is because they are rivals. They're not like each other. They haven't liked each other for years.
Yes. As a matter of fact, usually rivalry weekends will have the Toronto Argonauts playing the Hamilton Tiger Cats in their house one week, and then the very next week they'll go play the Hamilton Tiger Cats in their house. Mm-hmm. And that's how rivalry weeks work in the CFL.
Get the home and home.
People love it. And one other thing that's interesting about the CFL is that they play Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So 6 days out of the week, there's a good chance you're going to see a CFL game.
You have professional athletes playing football 6 days a week.
It's remarkable. So it's a lot of fun to watch them. And again, as the season goes on, we'll be able to do a lot more to let you know what's going on with Canada.
All right. Well, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the indoor minor leagues and let you guys know about that. And we'll be back in a bit.
Do you enjoy spending time with your faithful companion? Do you wish you could help more dogs find their loving homes and have them get the quality medical care they desperately need? If you answered yes to these questions, then come join Adopt a Husky for a day of fun at our 18th annual Husky Hike to raise money for our major medical costs incurred throughout the year, from car crash victims to neglect and abuse cases. Bring your medium and large breed dogs to participate in games, explore new opportunities, receive an awesome goodie bag, and have tons of fun. If you don't have a dog, then walk one of our current foster dogs and make their day. The hike will be held on Saturday, May 13th at the Van Patten Woods Forest Preserve in Wadsworth, Illinois from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Visit our website at www.adoptahusky.com by Friday, April 28th to register. No donation is too small to make a difference.
I got started here at IMS recently, moving back to the Chicago area where I had been living in Connecticut, working at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, had an opportunity to move home, and I wanted to continue being an instructor, and that's how I ended up at IMS. My time here, I love working with students. The key thing in this industry, whether it's radio or TV, is it's just in a constant state of change. And we always need to have fresh ideas, and fresh people bring fresh ideas. It's just a lot of different, diverse thinking. And that's how you help build a show or a show unit or a segment. And I just enjoy being able to teach, maybe teach is a strong word, but instruct kids that really want to get into this business. And we need fresh ideas, and this is a great place to do that. the students here, you know what? There are students here who are fresh out of high school. There are students here who have maybe been out working in the real world, doing whatever, selling insurance, being a police officer, whatever it is, and decide that, hey, you know what? I want to give this a shot. And so they come here. So there is really no specific age range here, and I think it's great. The students are all eager to learn because they want to be here. They're not being forced to go to school here. That's a key thing. This is something you want to do, and you're putting everything you have into doing this, and that's just fantastic. My name is Dave Zaslowski. I am the executive producer for the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Bulls radio networks. I am at the Lombard campus, and I am IMS.
The reason I'm out here at the Illinois Media School is the radio business, while there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of stations, the people in the business is a small, tight-knit group. Everybody kind of knows everybody, and I love the opportunity of being able to connect with people who have a passion to get into this business. I had great instructors as I came up through the ranks, and I really enjoy the opportunity of being able to give back, connect, share the experiences I have, and actually learn from the students as well. I think it's great that we're able to learn from each other. Your Illinois Media School students, the age range can be students who have just gotten out of high school to people who are looking for a new career option or looking to add to their career placement. They want to get involved with media, whether it's radio, television, in front of the camera, behind the camera, and that's what I think is such a great opportunity out here, is the fact that you can do radio and television, but it's not your choice. They require you to do both. I wish I had the TV and camera opportunities that the students are going to get here, plus all the hands-on activity. My name is Dustin Rhodes. I'm the executive producer with the Mully and Hanley Show on 670 The Score, and I am IMS.
How did I hear about IMS? Well, it was about 16 years ago, and I was doing college radio just for fun. Had no purpose whatsoever until a buddy of mine, Dave Durov, who signed up for classes that same time I was there, told me about IMS, and I signed up. And before you know it, I was going to school, learning about radio, learning about TV, and I realized, hey, I can actually do this for a living. So 9 months later, I graduated. What do I think about my time at IMS? It was a lot of fun. I mean, there was learning involved, but it was good learning. I didn't feel like I was going to school. I felt like I was having a good time. The classmates were great. We had a good time in group projects. We had a great time doing our solo projects. So I felt like it was very important for me to get that before I did radio professionally. How would I describe students at IMS? Dedicated students for sure. IMS knows how to put the right kind of pressure on students to get things done, and I feel that the students there, knowing that if they want a career, they got to work hard. They got to do what you got to do what you got to do. And IMS really nails it that way. They do a good job of enforcing that and making sure it's also fun while you're doing it. Hi, my name is Edgar Ibarra. I'm the program director for Nash FM 1049 and Nash FM 99.5 in Northeast Wisconsin. I'm a graduate of the IMS Lombard campus, and I am IMS.
And welcome back, everyone, to I Want Football 365. If you're just joining us, I am your host, Mark Kanicki, with my co-host here, Michael Heim. We're going to get started here onto the next segment of our football coverage, as we're going to get into the pro, arena, and indoor football leagues. And let's start off with the longest history around, which would be the AFL, the Arena Football League, who's been around for about 30 years. They actually have a rich history out of Chicago again, as one of the first teams ever here was the Chicago Bruisers, which played their first game 30 years ago. And they've had since then the Chicago Rush, and more in distant past, people aren't aware of the fact that the Bears actually had the first ever indoor football game here in Chicago at Chicago Stadium. If I'm correct, it was in 1932. So just Chicago is rich with indoor and arena background, as we've had teams like the Slaughter and the Rush here in the past, who've had some extreme success, both winning championships here, and hopefully arena and indoor football will come back to Chicago. But for our next segment, we are going to focus on the AFL for a moment, as it is their 30th anniversary, and they've got some inaugural teams having their first season with the AFL, and some of them are making some surprises.
Yeah, well, the AFL, a lot of these leagues you'll find out going on, there's a lot of flux. So things will change year to year, who plays and who plays on what team, much more than the NFL or the CFL or a lot of the other major leagues going on. So throughout the AFL's history, teams have changed and churned. Now there are 5 teams. There's the Philadelphia Soul, the Tampa Bay Storm, and the Cleveland Gladiators are the veteran teams. And they are welcoming the 2 new teams, the Washington Valor and the Baltimore Brigade.
Yep. And they both have a mixture of rookies and veterans on both of their teams, so they could stay competitive this year. The Soul are coming back trying to defend the Arena Bowl title and seeing if they can win one more. But of course, we got a long season ahead of us. And for those of you who are not familiar with arena football, it is an amazing place for someone to get a career started in football, to get jump started. You get paid to play football, and on top of it, you have some people who've come from arena football. Most famously is Kurt Warner from the Iowa Barnstormers, and then going on to win Super Bowls and becoming a Hall of Fame quarterback. So it helps keep the dream alive for a lot of people, and you won't just see them move from the AFL to the NFL. You see a lot of players moving from the AFL to the CFL as well, which as the season goes along, we're going to be keeping a lot more track of that and following players as they go from the minors to the arena indoor leagues to the CFL and the NFLs of the world. I'm looking forward to keeping track of that, and maybe we can even get a couple of those players on here for interviews and talk to them about the grind of starting from the smallest spot and getting all the way to the top, and how did they do that.
In other sports, you get late bloomers happening all the time. I just want to think of baseball like Josh Donaldson. He was 27 when he really broke out. So the current model for a lot of NFL is if at 22 or 23 you're not at your peak, you're kind of done. But there's a lot of players that take another year or two to develop to a much better player. And so these guys play great football.
I've had the luxury of speaking with some people from the CFL, and they love bringing on players from the arena and indoor leagues. They say they have some of the best hearts and give some of the best examples of what it takes to be a professional football player, and not take for granted every day is a gift when you're a professional football player, and the next day you could be gone or someone could be taking your spot.
Right. This is, the AFL is you love football kind of a league.
Yes.
You go through a lot of work. And you're not getting paid the $20 million bonus that you will in the NFL.
Yeah, and speaking of which, you talk about rule differences. They are indoors, and they typically only have 50-yard fields. And the ball is in play, and even when you're at the boards, it's a live ball. And if you catch it and you fall over the boards, that's considered a completion. In arena, you can also field the ball on a kickoff off the net. And on top of it, if you want to do a Hail Mary, you could throw the ball into the net and it will actually fall down, and you could catch that, and that's a touchdown.
Well, they're also even special nets. They have, they're
That's right.
patented, they're kind of rubberized, so they'll bounce right back at you. So
That does make them different from any of the other indoor leagues, that they do have some rules that are only for their league. And you'll see a lot of their games this year broadcasted live, and as time goes on, we'll make sure that we share all the links on iwantfootball365.com so you can watch all these games with us and stay in tune with all the pro football that's happening before the NFL begins.
So Mark, who do you have to go all the way this year?
Well, as far as that goes, I was rooting for the Cleveland Gladiators, but they are not starting so well this year. I dare say the Philadelphia Soul are primed to do a repeat. Obviously, it is still the beginning of the season, but they're looking tough. And maybe the Cleveland Gladiators could turn it around. We do have some time left.
Yeah, this beginning of the season, Cleveland Gladiators have started out 0-3. It's not the start they envisioned. Philadelphia Soul 2-0.
Yep.
They look pretty strong.
Well, my favorite player in the league is still big play Reggie Gray, who plays for the Baltimore Brigade. And I always try to keep in touch and watch what he is about, as he's played for Western University here in Illinois, and he played for the Rush. He's also won a championship with the San Jose SaberCats, and more recently played overseas in the Arena League for China, which we'll get into in other episodes in the future.
That's right, the China Arena Football League. So.
Yeah, owned by Ron Jaworski and Marty Judge. It's exciting stuff, and football is becoming globalized. and that's part of the reason why we're doing this show.
You will hear Jaworski's name a whole lot on this show. He is everywhere trying to build football around the world. I'd love to be able to interview him.
The Polish bomber.
Excellent. I don't know if I'm too Irish. Well, just to be different, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Storm. They're starting off pretty well. They're 2-1 right now, another one of the veteran teams. They just pulled out a squeaker a little while ago, 62-61. Hibbert, the quarterback for the Storm, scored with 3 seconds left to seal that game. That was an exciting game.
Yeah, it was. It was something to watch, and that's why people watch arena and indoor football. It is exciting. It's high-paced, and it's definitely revolved around the offense. Obviously, you want your defense to be able to make stops, but a lot of people watch arena and indoor football is for the high-scoring, exciting, high-flying games that are also fan-friendly and family-friendly.
You'll see as the season goes on, though, the scores will start to trickle down once the players, or once the teams have faced each other once, twice, we'll have video. But at the beginning of the season, you will see some ridiculous scores.
Yeah, so it's unreal, which we're about to get into for the next league.
Yep.
Moving along to the IFL, which is the Indoor Football League. And speaking of ridiculous scores, this past week we had, if I'm correct, although it was a different league that I was referencing, but the Nighthawks lost to the Crush 77-73, which was another one of those games that just went to the end, and it went back and forth, and you weren't sure how it was going to go, and then all of a sudden the exciting finish. So the game itself is exciting all game long as people are scoring back and forth, but then it's at the end where literally 60 seconds can end up being anywhere from 3 to 4 possessions on both sides of the ball, and you never know what's going to happen.
Right. The Indoor Football League, that's a fun league too. It's not the same as the Arena Football League. There are some differences. One of the bigger ones, well, the nets, what football goes on the net is out, like the AFL, but the field's a little different too. So the AFL is almost like a small football field. It's rectangular, it's got square at the ends, while a lot of the other indoor football leagues, they have a hockey-style rink where it's actually curved the whole way, and most of them really are hockey rinks that they just put turf on temporarily.
Right,
while they
converting
do
them
things.
for football games. Yeah, and on top of it, they encourage, both leagues encourage it, all the indoor leagues do, where they want you to do celebrations every week. The IFL puts out video that shows everyone what are the celebrations of the week, and I have to tell you, they do a really good job of making it fun for the players and for the fans alike, so everyone can celebrate when a score is done.
We'll be able to show you videos of these pretty soon, and there's a couple of times I was laughing pretty hard. They're creative.
They're very creative, and a lot of people will reference the NFL and not being able to celebrate. Well, if that's something you'd like to see, well, you get plenty of that in arena and indoor football.
So a lot of these leagues are also kind of geographically based. So with the AFL, now it's more of like an Eastern Coast one. The IFL is a little more Midwest to the Southern region. So you have Iowa, you have Green Bay, the greatest football town out there, all the way down to Arizona, kind of like a nice swath of land. So good representation for that.
And there are some familiar faces from the old AFL days,
Right.
as the Barnstormers from Iowa, the Empire, which used to be known as, why can't I think of it at the moment, but it doesn't matter. They used to be from the AFL as well.
It's not a name.
And then on top of it, the Arizona Rattlers. So there's 10 teams in the IFL this year, which always gives for opportunities to see lots of games throughout the weekend. This past weekend, if I'm correct, there was somewhere in the range of like 14 or 15 games throughout the entire weekend with all the leagues. So it keeps you busy. For those of you who are football starved, it's really hard to be football starved when there's that much football going on.
And these games nowadays are easy to see. It isn't like it was even 5 years ago, where it wasn't on any channels. Now they're all on channels, almost all are streamed. YouTube backups for the next day. It's how I get to watch a lot of football.
Yep.
So you condense the games a little bit.
Yeah, if you miss it live, then you have an opportunity to go back and check it out. Most of the teams keep them backlogged, or you can find them on YouTube as well.
Which I think will really help the quality of football once the teams, now that there's video on all these other teams, they can coach a little better.
Absolutely, and it opens the doors for the players.
Yeah.
They're going to have video that they can actually go out there and show potential scouts that, hey, I am good enough to play at the next level. Look at me. Instead of sitting on the couch waiting for the phone call, I'm actually out there scoring touchdowns and making plays.
Yes, prospects, send us your videos. Let's try to get you guys in another league and,
Yeah, anything we can do to help players move on and highlight them and show them. And if you're doing good in the league and you want to get a little bit more exposure, we'd love to hear from you.
All right. Awkward pause by me. But so a lot of the time with the flux, that's why we're saying like the Iowa Born Summers, Arizona Rattlers from the AFL. You'll see that again and again. And as the years go on, these will change too.
Of
it's
course.
just it sifts. But the next league,
The Champions Indoor Football League. They have been around for quite some time themselves, and one of the more larger leagues in the nation is they have 14 teams in their league. And I almost said this in the last segment, but one of the more exciting games on the weekend was the Amarillo Venom, as they scored 94 points in that game to really take it to the other team. And like I said, you'll see that in the beginning of these seasons. I've seen teams get up into the hundreds, but when they do, it's quite remarkable. Central Texas Cavalry didn't really stand a chance that game.
well, they only scored 63 points. If you're only going to score 63 points, why even show up?
Right.
You don't.
Absolutely.
It
But
is
no,
bonkers.
Champions Indoor Football is also a fun league to watch. There are some great stories happening around the league right now. The Sioux City Bandits were undefeated until this past weekend when they lost to the Western Michigan Ironmen.
Well, how good have the Sioux City Bandits been over the past 10 years?
It's been remarkable how they've just been able to take over the leagues and do what they do. And now they've got some people catching up to them a little bit.
You got Target on your back.
Yeah.
They've won 6 championships, I want to say.
No, I think I don't know if that's them or not. I think you might be referencing someone
I'm
else,
lying.
but that's
Excuse me
okay.
about that.
But we'll get back to that. They definitely, if I'm correct, are the champions from last year.
Okay.
And teams dipping at their butt, the Bloomington Edge. They're on their way
local
up.
team.
And I'm privately rooting for the Omaha Beef, as we have some ties with them as well. More locally, he was their quarterback was the quarterback of our minor league football team, the Chicago Chaos, and he played 3 years here and won a championship, Anthony Ionati. Now he's playing at the Omaha Beef. So we're real excited to see him over there and see how his pro career continues to develop.
We played for a real good Division III team in Whitewater, Wisconsin.
Correct.
I think when he was there, they won the championship. I don't know if he was starting them. They've won about 5 times in the past 12 years.
It's remarkable.
So it's a real good program.
Well, yeah, he's a winner, and so wherever he goes, he has a tendency that's contagious about him. So
Right.
I'm rooting for him, but I know he's got an uphill battle. There's a lot of teams, including the Amarillo Venom, that are no joke this year that are going to vie for the United Bowl, if I'm correct, or their actual indoor bowl.
Yeah, there's about 5-6 teams that are pretty tough teams. Usually
Yes.
there's about 1 or 2 teams really run this, but there's 5 teams I don't want to face.
Well, as time goes on, we're going to be starting to show highlights from all these different leagues, and we're going to be able to show you each game in such a manner that most people haven't seen it before.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Again, this league, again, is Midwest, pretty much through the Southwest. So Omaha, Iowa.
And there's some great
Texas.
rivalries in there, of
Yep.
course, with the Green Bay and the Iowas and the Cedar Rapids Titans. You know, they've got a great team as well. Last year, I was rooting for them big time as they had a legend's nephew on that team, Brett Favre.
That's right.
Someone you're pretty familiar with. His nephew, Dylan Favre, was playing for the Cedar Rapids Titans last year, which most people didn't even know. And I got a chance to become a fan from far away, and it was exciting to watch him. You could tell he carried on the Favre name very well.
I can't wait to see that one. Well, let's do some picks for next week. There are 4 games going on in this
Okay.
league. First game this Saturday is the 3-3 Omaha Beef at the 0-7 Salina Liberty.
I'm going to have to go with the Beef. That's pretty much simple for me.
Yep.
Go, Anthony. Make it happen.
Good luck. Well, if
Maybe
everyone
you
plays
could break
well.
the record for most passing touchdowns in a game.
I feel bad for Liberty already for that one. Also on Saturday, we have the Western Michigan Ironmen versus Sioux City Bandits.
Well, isn't that they're playing again, huh? I guess so. Well, who knows what's going to happen? I'm guessing that the Bandits are going to come back for revenge in that game. That's my guess.
Dodge City Law at Kansas City Phantoms.
I'm going to go with the Law.
Law
are pretty tough this year. I think they've got what it takes to actually make a good playoff push as long as they stay injury-free, but that's everyone.
Phantoms were having a tough year too, so hope it turns around for them. And then the last one, the Amarillo Venom, who just put up a couple points against the Texas Revolution,
This
who
is
just
a
gave
rough
up a
one
lot of
for
points.
me, actually, because I respect both teams a lot. The Amarillo Venom have been around. They've been a champion a couple different times, and obviously they've got a strong team. But the Texas Revolution have Chris Dixon. And Chris Dixon is the guy who's been a journeyman from semi-pro to the Indoor Football League. winning championships everywhere he's gone, has actually already been inducted into the Pro Football Indoor Hall of Fame and came out of retirement to play for the Texas Revolution. So I have to say that I think Chris Dixon may give them the extra push that they need to get past the Amarillo Venom. We'll find out this weekend.
And again, this is a guy who loves football. You're not getting paid a whole bunch in the CIF or the IFL. This is for love of the game. So my hat's off. That's a lot of work. And then, last but not least, the National Arena League.
Oh, here we go, the NAL. This is their inaugural season. We're not tons sure about where they're going to end up and how things are going to be. I'm more familiar with the Jacksonville Sharks that have left the AFL and now are in the NAL. They're 5-0 this year, which I kind of expected and hoped that they would be. And I intend that they will run the table and win the first championship of the NAL this year.
Yeah, they just played in Mexico, actually.
Yes, they did.
The Monterrey Steel. So this league is two countries,
There was an
international.
unfortunate, nasty injury from one of the Monterey Steel players, and
Yeah.
our thoughts and prayers are with you, and hopefully for a quick recovery.
Yeah, best of luck on that one. That's one of the downsides of this sport. There's some,
True. Well, that's it. That's in all football at all stages. There's
Right.
always an
Yeah.
opportunity for that to
all
happen.
contact sports. I'm big into hockey and baseball and sports in general.
Well, if I'm correct, the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks are also in the NAL, and they're going to probably be another team that'll be rough for someone to deal with in the long run. But I think Jacksonville Sharks are just a step above everybody else in that league, and not to mention that they've run their organization in a very professional manner. And I love their uniforms. You ever see their
They do
chrome
look
helmets?
good.
They've got some really cool chrome red helmets. And every time I see the Jacksonville Sharks, I am reminded of a favorite movie of mine, Any Given Sunday, as where I see the Sharks from there. Remind me of the Sharks from the NAL.
Well, let's do the picks. We got 3 games next week. We've got the Columbus Lions at the Sharks. I have a guess what yours will be.
I think we're going to have to go with the Sharks.
The Corpus Christi Rage at the Lehigh Valley Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Yeah, home field advantage.
Steelhawks, right?
Steelhawks.
Yes, the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks.
Sorry, Seattle,
They're
please do
gonna
that
kill
to
them.
me. And then last, my favorite team, the Atlanta Wolfpack. They do not have a home stadium. They are a travel-only team. So these guys don't even have a home field, and they're traveling around to Monterrey, Mexico, for games. These guys love football. So
They must love football. That's out of all the things that you hear about for pro indoor and arena football, that's a unique story when someone doesn't even have a home and they're just a travel league team and they're still participating and playing. My hat goes off to them. That's got to be a unique and interesting and difficult situation.
yeah, it's very
to be in.
challenging. They're visiting the Georgia Firebirds.
I know nothing about either team. I will just go for the underdog on this one, and I'm going to go for the team without a home.
I'm going to say Wolfpack every game I get the chance for. Even games that I'm playing in.
Wolfpack is
I'll
where
probably
it's
say
at.
the
We're going to root
Wolfpack.
for them. They're our underdogs for the NAL this year.
All right, guys, so that wraps up this segment.
And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about some other leagues, such as the Legends Football League, the Women's Football Alliance, and the MSFL. Stay tuned.
When your child, parent, or other loved one needs a little care in their home or other setting, turn to Bright Star Care of Chicago and LaGrange. They provide personalized premium care to pediatric and geriatric clients in any setting with their non-medical services and skilled nursing services based on individual needs. Bright Star Care does all of this by providing a higher standard of care, delivered by care experts, which has earned them the Joint Commission accreditation and high client satisfaction scores. Their commitment to quality, professional care with registered nurses overnight on all home care cases and the 24/7 team availability to respond to any service needs truly makes them a premium organization. Call Bright Star Care of Chicago and LaGrange to further discuss their services for all ages that will meet your individual needs. Find them at www.brightstarcare.com, or if you're in Chicago, call 312-382-8888, and in LaGrange and the surrounding suburbs, call 708-551-2500.
I got started at IMS here as an instructor a couple years back after I'd heard a couple of people I worked with were also instructors here. And after being in the industry of radio and sports phone and TV and play-by-play for as long as I have been. I figured that it would be a good thing to come on out. I had some free time. Come on out and help out some of the people that want to be the next people involved in these kind of things, next people that hit the radio airwaves and also do play-by-play. So I thought it was a great idea and a great place to do it at. When I'm here, it's great because there's always somebody that has either heard me, has wanted to meet me, and once they meet me, I explain to them, okay, it wasn't that big a deal. But if I'm always here if you need help with developing what you're passionate about. And that's what most people come here for. They have a passion. They want to do something. They want to do radio play-by-play. They want to do sports talk. They want to do updates, whatever it may be. I love being here and helping them become better at what they're trying to work at. And it's great because the one thing about the students is they're really good at listening to criticisms. Once you get into the business, it's difficult because people all think that, okay, I've made it. But here at the school, everybody wants to get better. And that's one of the better things, and one of the things I really enjoy about it is they'll come and they'll say, how can I make this better? And I always tell them I'm going to be super critical of everything I tell them because that's the only way they're going to get better. And it's great because every student I've talked to enjoys that because they all want to get better. And that's one of the things I love about it. My name is Fred Hubner. I work at ESPN 1000 as a host and sports anchor. I am an instructor here at the Lombard campus of the Illinois Media School, and I am IMS.
I came to Illinois Media School because I want to give back to the current students. It's something that really means a lot to me as an instructor, as a mentor, because I've been in this business for over 20 years. So it meant a lot to me to be able to come back and just teach some of the tricks of the trade to the students here at Illinois Media School. I've enjoyed my time tremendously here because I'm able to speak one-on-one with the students, having that personal touch, telling them about some of the pitfalls of the business, some of the positives of the business as well. I think that after 20 years of doing this, it means a lot that I can be able to lend my expertise and talk about some of the things I had to go through so that way they're not frustrated, so they feel like, hey, you know what, someone's listening to my problems. So I definitely want to do that. I love the students here at Illinois Media School, and the reason why is because you can see the desire in their eyes. You can tell that they really want to take it to the next level. I admire what they're doing because in this particular era of broadcasting, they have so many things they could do. It could be radio, it could be television, it could be web design, they could do so many different things. So I'm so happy that they had the opportunity to do it because I didn't have an Illinois Media School when I was coming up. I had to go to a 2 or 4 year college to try to get a career started in the business. But Illinois Media School is so terrific that students can be able to get it done in 1 year. Job placement assistance, the financial aid for those who qualify is just terrific. I'm Jonathan Hood from SiriusXM NBA Radio and ESPN Radio from the Illinois Media School campus in Lombard, and I am IMS.
I got started at IMS through a good friend of mine and a colleague at 670 The Score, Rick Camp, who knew I was an instructor at other universities and knew I was looking to get into a place with passionate students who know what they want to do. They know this is what they want to do for a living, and I have absolutely found that in my time here at IMS. The students are driven, they're passionate about broadcasting, radio, TV, internet, every asset of broadcasting they are completely passionate about, and it's very refreshing for me, having come from a university where students are obsessed with their general eds and other things that distract them from their major. These students here are here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to break into the broadcasting business, and it's some of the best and brightest young talent I've seen in my 16 years in the industry. My name is Jay Zawaski. I'm an executive producer for 670 The Score. I'm an instructor here at IMS, and I am IMS.
I Want Football 365. And we're going to wrap up our indoor pro leagues with the LFL, the Legends Football League.
We dominate this league as far as the Chicago teams are concerned. The Bliss are 3-time champions over the past 4 years.
Defending currently.
Yeah, defending currently. They beat the Seattle Mist. They got revenge on them from the year before, as they had lost to them in the championship game. And then they came back last year and met them again in the championship game and won this time around. And I think you're going to see more of that as time goes on.
Yes, those two teams are, on paper, look like the best two teams.
Yep, and the Bliss always bring it. Coach Hack knows how to get those girls ready. I've had the luxury of being on the sidelines and seeing how they play, and they leave it all on the field. And Chicago women are no joke. They put everybody else on their rear ends all the time.
That was a pretty impressive team because they even switched quarterbacks last year. They still won the championship.
Yep, they did.
So Hackett has a well-oiled machine there.
Absolutely. And Coach Pike, quick shout out to him, offensive coordinator over there. Love that guy. He does a great job for them.
Let's see. LFL is an 8-team league split in 2 divisions, East and West. And as we were saying earlier, Seattle might be the favorite right now come out of the West. So like we said before, a lot of these teams are in flux. There was a team last year that the Seattle Mist beat in the playoffs, the Dallas Desire. And the Dallas Desire are not playing anymore. So they got a lot of their good players, went straight up to the Pacific Northwest. Michelle Angel, a quarterback, she's a stud. So now she's teamed up with KK Matheny, who is the quarterback for Seattle Mist, who has won a championship. She's done some great play. So they have a 2-headed dragon right now. It's almost unfair looking at the lineup.
I still think the Bliss are going to roll them over and not going to have a chance. I think
I'm still talking about the West. Wrong.
It's the Bliss league. That's all. We can move on. As far as I'm concerned, at the end of the season, we're going to be talking about the Mist and the Bliss, and the Bliss will be bringing us home another championship. That's how I see it. But time will tell.
Well, before we get too far ahead, let's just talk about the first game. As inaugural game was last week, starting with the Mist, and they faced the Austin Acoustic. This was a tall order for the Acoustic inaugural team. And so they found a breakout star. They have Cassandra Wills, wide receiver, just tore it up, but you can't tear up too much against the Seattle Mist. The game was tied going to halftime, and the Seattle Mist just took over, 46-26. It wasn't pretty. Great job of Seattle Mist. I don't want to face that team. And even though they have 2 quarterbacks, they're sticking with KK Matheny. She's had a lot of good work and hasn't started out too strongly, but coaches had a lot of faith in her, and I think it was wrong. Michelle Angel's right there. They're sitting pretty. But let's go over to the other conference. Mark said his piece, and I can't really disagree with him. I'm a homer. The Bliss is my team. I'm rooting for them. But they're starting up against the Denver Dream. Denver Dream is a 20-year-old quarterback. I do think the Bliss might be taking this one.
Not only they're going to take this one, the Dream are going to have nightmares before and after this game, and so are their. I'm guessing their close members of their family and friends are going to feel
It'll
it
spread
too.
To them.
Yeah, it'll
nightmares.
spread. The fear is going to spread. It's not going to be a good dream for them. It's going to be the Bliss showing them how it's done.
I want a good game. Mark just wants torture.
Yeah, I want complete blowout and total domination.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the arena and indoor pro leagues.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the outdoor leagues.
We do cover a couple of minor leagues this year, and we are biased again as we have 2 minor league teams in our backyard that we're going to be following. One is the Chicago Chaos minor league football team. They have currently joined the MSFL. They've been around for roughly about 6 seasons. went to 5 straight championships and won 4. They have a 69-11 record, and they're bringing their talents to the MSFL to take on the bigger teams, the ones that have been around for a long time, like the Racine Raiders, the Lincoln Way Patriots, and Chicago Thunder, just to name a few. And they have some teams following us over from the GFL from last year. So we're going to get some rematches with teams that we've played in the past. And I'm real excited. We got Michael Anthony Shuchuk as our quarterback coming back this upcoming year. So that's going to be a good thing for us. He's leading a high potent offense, and our defense just looks mean. As a matter of fact, when we're done with the show here, we're going to be heading up to the Chaos practice to go check them out ourselves.
Now, mostly, as I was telling before, these guys love football. They get paid very little, if anything. Now we're getting into leagues where you have to pay money, sometimes a pretty penny.
Yeah, and mostly, most teams make you pay to be on them, whereas these players do not get paid to play, so they don't lose their eligibility when they're playing for the Chaos or any of the teams in the MSFL.
So you go for college, you
Yeah,
get
give them an
scholarships.
opportunity to keep their college eligibility and move on into college and get a scholarship possibly, or get into the indoor pros or arena game and continue to move your
Like
career
Anthony
forward.
Ionati.
Yes, or even Chris Dixon for that matter.
Yes.
Who also got his start in the minor leagues as well. So yes, we do have our most famous move on, I guess you would say, would be Anthony Ionati, who did help us win 3 championships with the Chicago Chaos, and now is quarterbacking the Omaha Beef, who have been around for quite some time.
Yes, Omaha has a rich football history.
Yes, I'm excited. I think he's in a good spot over there, and
Yep.
I think those fans will rally around him and that team this year.
Oh, he's also a nice kid, too.
Oh, absolutely. And then this upcoming year with the Chaos, we will be broadcasted again on sportstownchicago.com, courtesy of the Illinois Media School. This will be our 3rd year with them, if I'm correct. I'm very excited to have them on board again this year. It gives our fans an opportunity to watch the game if they're not going to be there, and an opportunity for our players to get some film on themselves so they can actually go out there and promote themselves and try to move on in their pro careers.
I was very surprised the quality of the broadcast. I'm used to like single A or like independent league baseball games, you know, where you use one ISO camera, doesn't move the entire game. The graphics replays, I was very impressed.
It makes for an amazing experience, whether
Right.
you're there or just watching from home. But the MSFL is going to be a tough league this year. We have a lot of teams that are trying for the championship, but I have to admit, I am rooting for our Chaos, as I am a part of that team. So I am going to be extremely biased, of course. But I also respect all the teams that are currently in that league, and we have an uphill battle.
You're the new kid on the block.
Yes, yes.
So you gotta, I don't know how much respect they'll give you without seeing, but once they face you, I think they'll start giving you some guys.
I think time will tell, but I'm looking forward to this upcoming season. Our first home game will be June 10th.
All right.
And we'll keep you guys informed as we're potentially going to be broadcasting I Want Football 360 live from a couple of our games this year. So it'll be a lot of fun.
I think that team will be pretty exciting.
Yes, it will be.
Well-
I expect everyone to come out, and if you're interested in learning how you can find out more about our home games with the Chaos, go to ChicagoChaosFootball.com.
And one of the things I love about the Chaos is their attitude towards bringing people to the new leagues or to college. So getting them a chance to better themselves. So whether it's a scholarship, these guys really go out their way, and you don't charge anything.
We're a farm team, so these players don't get paid to play. So
Yeah.
we look at all of our expenses get done by third-party sponsorships. That allows us to take care of a field cost, transportation, equipment, etc.
All right, so thank you very much for the sponsors making this possible, because without you guys, the team wouldn't be the way it is.
That's right, and I think we're going to continue to build, and our goal is to be Chicago's other team. As I think you will see as time goes on, the Chaos do give you something fun to
Yes.
cheer for. Their defense is 85 Bears-esque, if you will. So they are fun to watch, and they know how to shut them down, and the players on offense definitely know how to light it up as well.
And again, it's a lot of fun. Celebrations are wild, and it's a great family, family day activity. Taking out the kids.
Inexpensive, good time.
Right.
Tickets are typically around $5 to $7.
It's not $30 for a hot dog
That's
and
right.
soda.
The food's inexpensive and the game's inexpensive. It gives you an opportunity to go out and enjoy some summer football on a Saturday night at 7
Right.
p.m. Just depends on where they're playing.
Yeah, because those when it gets to July, when there's no hockey, no basketball, there's just baseball. Some people go insane. I'm okay.
That's right. That's right.
But I do need my football.
That's right. We always need our football.
All right, but you have another league that you are.
Yes, the Women's Football Alliance, the WFA, which is another one of our Chicago teams, is a part of the Chicago Force, which have been around for about 14 years, women's tackle football. They've had accolades of winning on a state championship level, on a national championship level, and internationally as well. And they're primed to take it potentially all the way this year. But this weekend we will find out for sure, as they are taking on the defending champions, the Washington D.C. Divas.
That should be a good game. Yes, they're flying out.
Yeah, the last Force game they won 84-0.
Yeah, it's a close
so
game.
They have a tendency to dominate the players, the teams that they play. And they recently signed Jules Harshbarger as their place kicker, who has not only played for other women's teams, but she's also played in men's leagues. And she's actually been the Special Teams Player of the Year in the CIF in the past. Yeah. So she in her first game, she had 12 extra points.
That's amazing.
Yes, she made them all 12 for 12.
Just having 12 touchdowns is amazing.
Right. To make sure that you cover all your extra points is something else. So
well, if you're going to score 84 points, it takes a lot of time to do the field goals.
The competition is definitely going to raise this weekend. There is roughly, if I'm correct, 53 teams in this league, which is one of the largest leagues of any of the leagues that we cover. So talk about getting up to speed. They play 11 on 11. It is a normal 100-yard field. And talk about women who leave it all in the field. This is no joke as well. And there are some great stories that come along with this. And as the season goes on, we're going to highlight some of those. Right. Players from all around the world have actually come to play for the Force at one time or another, which is pretty remarkable.
And again, it's only because they love football so much. And you've seen them play a few times. I don't want to get out there.
Yeah, they're dominant. Yeah, they know what they're doing. And, they have a great head coach in Coach Konecki, and he knows what he's doing. Not related to me, but just sounds similar. And he knows how to do it right. Get his players ready every weekend so they can go out there and play competitive football.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky to have our women's team be the Bliss and the Force.
Yes, we are lucky. And as far as the leagues go across the United States, there's roughly about 60 some odd teams out there between both leagues, and we have two of the best teams right here in our backyard in the Bliss and the Force, which makes our lives pretty remarkable. About 2 years ago, one of the players from the Force, Jamie Fornell, was the first ever to play for the Force women's tackle football team and the Chicago Bliss in the same year. So it's pretty remarkable stuff.
That's a lot of football. That's a lot of wear and tear.
Yes, it was fun to watch them that season, that's for sure.
All right, so that covers the main leagues.
Yeah, that covers everything, and we're looking forward to shows in the future and to continue to give you updates and highlights in all the leagues from all around the world. And just want to thank our sponsors one more time. For without them, that wouldn't be able to do what we're doing today. And we're looking forward to seeing you next week, as we will be broadcasting live from Bricks in Yorktown. And we encourage you to come on out, as we're going to be doing a fundraiser for the Chaos, where 15% of all the net sales from 4 to 9 are going to be going to the Chaos. And on top of it, our show is going to run from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you can come out and cheer us on live, and we're going to interact with the guests and answer some questions and have some highlights from you about this upcoming week.
We'll be asked questions.
Yes.
I don't know how many we can answer.
Well, we'll see.
We'll give it a shot. What happens. All right.
We'll do our best.
Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. This was Mark Konecki. I'm Michael Heim. Have a great night.
Until next time.
Promotional consideration for I Want Football 365 is the Illinois Media School and SportstownChicago.com. If interested in a career in media, go to the Illinois Media School by going to beonair.com or dial 630-916-1700. The Illinois Media School. Be on TV, be on radio, beonair.com. Also, I Want Football 365 show today has been brought to you by the Red Zone and Chicago Chaos Football. For more information on Chicago Chaos Football, go to the site on your screen right now, chicagochaosfootball.com. Bricks Wood-Fired Pizza Cafe. For some of the best wood-fired pizza in the Chicagoland area, check out their many locations. Bricks Wood-Fired Pizza Cafe. And coming up May 3rd, 2017, from 4 to 9 p.m. at the Lombard location, the Chicago Cast will be having a fundraiser with 15% of the net sales at the place will be donated. For more information, once again, check out ChicagoChaosFootball.com and www.brickswoodfiredpizza.com. This show also brought to you by PartyGuardChicago.com, an all-inclusive tour operation that sympathizes on people not drinking and driving. A very cost-effective program that still enables the person to have and enjoy a good time. For more information, call 630-802-6232 or go to PartyGuardChicago.com. Tooker Flags. Tooker Flags are the official flag of the LFL and Chicago Chaos Football that specialize in personalized penalty and challenge flags. Tooker Flags. And finally, once again, Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017, is the Chicago Chaos fundraiser at Brick's Woodfire Pizza Cafe. Come on out and check the live show at 2770 South Highland Avenue in Lombard, Illinois. For more information on this fundraiser, go to ChicagoChaosFootball.com. This program, again, brought to you by I Want Football 365. For future shows and more upcoming dates about where they will be on location, go to IWantFootball365.com.